Do you know what really fucks me off? Cancelled games, especially when they're for your favourite console, the Dreamcast. So today I wanted to share with you 5 games that never got the chance to fly their nest. Let's take a look. Does anybody know this cunt? Bernie Stolar, a man well known for his impeccable decision making and knowledge when it comes to the video game industry. While there are many stories as to why Geistforce never had the chance to be inserted into our Dreamcasts, but this is the one I like to subscribe to. Our mate Bernie supposedly said the game wasn't good enough and just had it straight up cancelled. There are also stories that Sega of Japan were not impressed with the game and its Panzer Dragoon vibes, which also contributed to its cancellation. Basically, it's all a bit of a fucking mess, so let's just blame Bernie. First shown to the public at E3 in the year of 1998 and was met with great applause due to its graphics and gameplay that resembled Nintendo's much beloved series Star Fox. So how good of a game is Geistforce? Well, the opening level sees you taking on many enemies as you fly around chatting to your co-pilots trying to reach the next section of the stage. It's all very Star Foxy, but that's not an insult. I had a great time playing it. Lucky for us, the very passionate Dreamcast community have managed to get this game released, although in its buggy, unfinished form, but nevertheless it's still a great game. Before David Cage became obsessed with emotions and controls fit for a 2-year-old, Quantic Dream was working on a little game called Quark, which was originally penned to be released for the Dreamcast as well as the PS2 and PC. Now this game was more light-hearted and fun when compared to the usual child kidnapping storylines of the studio's past titles. The game would see you traversing 2 worlds which the player was able to switch between to mainly solve puzzles and quests. Now it's quite hard finding the reason as to why Quark never passed the gates, but it's most likely due to Quantic Dream working on Fahrenheit, which would go on to become the studio's first critically acclaimed game. It's a shame as the game looked absolutely fantastic. At least this fucker had nothing to do with it this time. Actually a sequel to the PC-only release of Redline, the game would go on to be cancelled due to the Dreamcast networking setup, which would see the game being infested with lag, resulting in the game becoming unplayable. The developers were seemingly not up to the task of working out the issues, and the decision was made to cancel the game. Now you ask yourself, what's so special about Redline Arena? Well, if the promise of quick action sliced with car combat was not enough to get you wet, as mentioned earlier, the game would enter the online arena and allow players to take each other on in brutal matches that would see you jumping in and out of vehicles whilst running around the map trying to take each other out. It's a shame that this one never got to see the light of day. It was later released for the PS2 under a different name and would become known as Motor Mayhem. Unfortunately, the first person aspect of the game was missing and it turned into a car combat game. Now I'm not going to sit here and explain Half-Life to you. Everyone knows Half-Life, but not many know that it was originally planned to be released for the Dreamcast as well. First announced for the console in the year 2000, the game would enter what could only be described as development hell, with constant revisions of the release date and delay after delay until finally it was announced with only a few weeks left until its proposed release, the game would be cancelled. The only reason given to the Dreamcast fanbase was market-changing conditions. Sadly, the Dreamcast just wasn't selling enough, and from a business perspective it made sense to pull the plug. At least Bernie wasn't involved. But all joking aside, it would have been awesome to have Half-Life on a Dreamcast, and thankfully it's available now to try out if you fancy downloading the ISO. Now Propeller Arena, originally titled Propeller Head Online, is a bit of a tricky one. It was never really cancelled. It just never got released. Developed by the gods themselves at AM2, the game would pit you against opponents in aerial dogfights. What makes this game stand out has to be the inclusion of online play, which was a bit of a rarity back in the day, and with the added feature of voice chat, you can imagine how much fun this game would have been. Thankfully, the game was leaked online and is available for everyone to play, minus the online functionality. With its simple yet engaging gameplay, quirky artistic design, and ahead of its time online functions, Propeller Arena could have been one of the games to define the Dreamcast. Unfortunately, for no fault of its own, it never got a chance to take off. Well, that was it guys. Make sure you leave your thoughts about the cancelled games for the Dreamcast in that comment section below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. I shall see you next time.